Michigan Out of Doors Online is brought to you in part by
Huron Lady River Cruises in Port Huron, offering daily sightseeing trips and private cruises. Sightseers will experience the International Blue Water Bridges, Great Lakes Freighters, the Fort Gratiot Lighthouse, and more. Huron Lady River Cruises on the web at huronlady.com.
Welcome to Michigan Out of Doors. I'm Jenny Olson, and on this week's show, Jordan and I are going to take you to Cadillac, Michigan, to the Nixon Family Bear Camp. We got to catch up with some old friends and follow along with some hunters with their very first bear tag in their pocket. You won't want to miss that, and Jimmy's got some other stuff in store for us this week, too.
Well, that's right, Jenny. We do have a few more things on this week's show, but we are really excited about that bear hunt from northern Michigan, which will take up the bulk of the episode. But after that, we're going to stop in with our friends at the Michigan United Conservation Clubs for a little natural resources news, hear from their new director, as well as from the DNR about what we as sportsmen can be doing to give back to our natural resources. Lots of good stuff on this week's show, so you stay tuned. I'm Jimmy Gretzinger, and it's time for Michigan Out of Doors.
From the first spring rains to the soft summer breeze, dancing on the pine forest floor, the autumn colors catch your eyes. Here come the crystal winter skies. It's Michigan, Michigan Out of Doors. Someday our children all will see this is their finest legacy, the wonder and the love of Michigan. As the wind comes whispering through the trees, the sweet smell of nature's in the air. From the Great Lakes to the quiet stream, shining like a sportsman's dream, it's the love of Michigan we all share.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Greenstone Farm Credit Services, making recreational land ownership possible across Michigan and northeast Wisconsin. Begin your land financing journey at one of Greenstone's 37 locations or visit greenstonefcs.com. By Meyer, a destination for hunting, fishing, and camping. From bug spray and tents to GPS and gas, Meyer has nearly everything you need to take on nature and get you there. Meyer. By G5 Outdoors, makers of the Quest and Prime bows. Manufactured and designed in Memphis, Michigan, G5 offers archery bows, broadheads, and accessories. On the web at g5outdoors.com. By Country Smokehouse, offering a variety of meat products. Country Smokehouse is located 3 miles south of I-69 on M53, just south of Imlay City. Country Smokehouse is a meat processor, a butcher, and a destination for sportsmen.
Here in Cadillac in the Baldwin Bear Unit, opening day was filled with excitement as Roy Thomason headed to the Nixon Family Bear Camp to try filling the first ever Pure Michigan tag donated to a veteran. Well, Roy?
I'm ready.
Yeah?
Yeah, very ready.
Sweet. Pretty excited?
So excited. This is going to be great. First time. I'm ready to go.
First bear tag?
First bear tag ever.
Very cool.
Thanks to Bill.
Awesome. All right. Yeah, you got one donated to you, right?
Yep, Bill Kring.
Cool.
Yep. I'm so happy.
Well, I looked at my schedule, I looked at the hunt, I looked at all the things I can do, and I had my daughters were going off to college, and my son's in college, and with time constraints, I said, I'm not going to be able to do all of this stuff. And I've never applied for a bear license, and I knew somebody probably wanted it. And one of my friends is involved with AMVETS, Matt McGarrah in Cadillac, and I said, can you find me somebody who would really want this? And he said, yep, I'll find you somebody. And we found Roy.
So Rob, tell us the plan. What's going on? You guys been out baiting all morning, eh?
Been running baits, and we're gonna go in here. I've got cameras. I bait this one about 8 a.m. Usually by 9 to 11, I've got 4 to 5 different bears coming in. So hopefully it'll happen quick.
Cool.
So
there's a lot of bears. Usually I end up with multiple bears on each bait, and the hunters usually see more than one bear. So they can be a little picky, but taking a lot of 200-pounders. There's sows, a couple boars, so it's a pretty good area. We've killed some very large ones in the past. Where Roy and you sat was a huge swamp, and it's really wet, hard to get through. Quite a population of bears there. You've seen different ones. I had on trail camera, there was multiple bears coming to the bait on any given day. I mean, every day it was active, but
Most bear hunts typically start later in the day, but with all the trail cam activity Rob was seeing all day long at this bait, Roy and I got out to the swamp and into the blind at 8 a.m.
And I thought it was going to be the same old routine. Hey, this is a guide service. You're going to go in. 10 minutes later, you're going to shoot a bear, and then they're going to drag everything out, and we're going to get everything set up. And it wasn't. It was a real hunt. It was so much fun. Rob's hospitality. It's just a beautiful place. Set us up in a pretty decent blind, and first night we had, I'd say a sow and 2 cubs came in, a lot of other little critters.
This sow and what we believed to be her 2 yearling cubs stuck around for over an hour and kept us entertained. Hunting regulations state that it is unlawful to take a sow if she has cubs with her, but these were technically not considered cubs since they were not born this year and were most likely her offspring from last year. Still, Roy made the personal decision to pass on this bear and waited out for something else. After all, it was opening day of his very first bear hunt, and he was in no hurry to fill his tag. Speaking of that pure Michigan tag, when Bill Kring found out that he won the drawing for a hunting license for every season in the state, he knew right away he wanted to donate his bear tag to a veteran. The problem was no one had ever done it before, and the DNR had no process in place to do so. To make a long story short, there is now a special form that allows any pure Michigan hunt winner to donate their bear tag to a veteran. We thank Mr. Bill Kring for blazing the trail to make this happen. The sow and yearlings were the only bears we ended up seeing today. Jordan was also here with a camera, and we wondered if he and Josh were having any luck at their spot.
For the 2014 bear opener, I'd be tagging along with Josh Gottschall as he tried to fill his very first bear tag. Wade Nixon was our guide today, and he would be putting us on a bait near a large swamp where he was getting anywhere from 5 to 9 bears in just about every day.
We're in Wexford County hunting bear. We just got set up, and now we're waiting for the bear to show up.
Our bait was about 70 yards in front of us, and the wind was out of the south, and so the wind was perfect. The bait was in front of us, perfect setup. We were sitting in 2 lawn chairs, no blind, no nothing, just myself and Jordan sitting there on the ground next to the tree. It was very, very awesome. Your field of view was perfect. You didn't have to look out any windows, worry about anything. There was no rain. The weather was great. It was a great setup and good planning on behalf of Wade.
This was my first bear hunt on the ground without a blind, and although we were nearly 75 yards from the bait, it certainly added some excitement to the hunt as we waited for the first bear to show up.
Well, we had been sitting for about 5 hours or so, and we got in real early because this particular bait had a lot of daytime activity in the 12:45 range all the way through dark. So we were sitting there and not seeing many bears or anything, a lot of birds and squirrels and red squirrels and whatnot running around. So we were getting a little concerned, not real concerned, but it got to be about 6 o'clock and still no bears. And then about 15 minutes after 6, they all started showing up, and they just continued showing up.
All of a sudden, there were bears coming out of the woodwork. Within minutes, we had seen 7 different bears, but the biggest bear never made his way to the bait pile, so we waited patiently for him to show up in one of our shooting lanes.
Seven bears in and around us in 1/2 hour, and they're some on the bait, some moving to the bait, sow, cubs, boars. It was very exciting to watch, and especially having it on film was excellent. I didn't expect to see this many bears. I guess I had my hopes, but at the same time, you never know. It is hunting, and there's no way to know what you're gonna find until you get out there.
After about 45 minutes, the big bear we had been waiting to see made his way to the bait pile. We were both pretty certain this bear was a shooter, but with other bears around, we had to wait to get a clear shot. Judging bears can be pretty difficult, and we were in no rush to take a shot.
We had sow and cubs on the bait, and what we, in my guesstimation, was a nice boar came in, and we were watching it, but the way it came in, the cubs were still there behind it. It didn't run them off, and which was strange, but it's hunting, and we couldn't get a shot at him. We tried, but the angle wasn't right, and we don't want to take an unethical shot. We want to make sure that the shot is good the first time, and you got one shot and you make it count.
I think we both got a little nervous when the big bear turned to leave without ever offering us a good shot. Little did we know this was just the beginning. This big bear would leave, and come back, and leave several times without ever offering us a clean shot.
When the bear was up on the bait, we looked it over, and we really wanted to take our time and make sure we had the right bear, a good bear, because this tag doesn't come along very often. And so we did take our time and looked at it, but there was no real clean shot for that bear, and we decided to pass. And after looking at the footage, and it was the right thing to do, because there was potential to hit two bears, and we didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do that. That's not anything anybody wants to do, and I'd rather pass than take a bad shot.
It was the right thing to do, but it was hard to have a 300-plus pound black bear within range so many times and never be able to squeeze the trigger. He would leave one last time, and with the light beginning to fade, Josh and I both wondered if our incredible night of bear hunting was coming to an end. That was until I caught movement to my right. Just as I was beginning to run out of camera light, it was a nice bear walking right at us.
They don't get any closer than that.
No, they look big to me.
I think they all look big at 5 yards. Nice job.
He's got a big head on him.
I've been a part of a lot of bear hunts, but none that had my heart pumping quite like that. The bear crossed just feet in front of me and was a whopping 4 yards from us when Josh pulled the trigger. What an incredible way to cap off a great day of bear hunting.
Well, we were sitting on the ground next to some deadfall here, and we had a bigger bear on the bait pile, but there's cubs behind it, so we couldn't get a shot, and we were losing camera light. And then I looked to the right, and Jordan said there's a bear coming in, so I looked at it, and as it came by, it looked really good to me, and I shot it about 10 yards, and it went about 2 feet, so life is good. Thank you, Wade. In this area, Wade and Rob are top-notch bear guides. They know what they're doing, and people all over the state know that. Somebody told me that they know bear better than bear know bear, and I would believe that. I'm a first-time bear hunter. I've never hunted bear before. Threw the tag, and I knew there was great bear around here, and I couldn't have been happier. We gave a couple fist bumps and some high fives, and it was just wonderful. And the first day, first night of the season.
When we arrived back at Wade's bear pole, we found that there had been a couple of other successful hunters in camp, but I don't think there was a story that rivaled ours. Josh's bear weighed in at just over 200 pounds, a very respectable Michigan bear. While I was getting a few last shots of Josh's bear, Jenny was catching up with someone that all of you Michigan Out of Doors fans ought to know.
Yes, how are you?
What's going on?
Well, my son was baiting for an old friend of mine, Bill Cray, and he shot a 290 pounder and did a great job, but it took Rob Nixon to find it for us. This guy's a heck of a guy, isn't he?
He's like one of those dogs.
Oh, I think he could track a snake across a flat rock. You know, I mean, it's unbelievable. Thanks to him, it's just a really humdinger of a bear.
Opening day. Is this your first Michigan bear?
First Michigan bear.
Cool. Congratulations.
13 years to get the permit. So.
And you hunted with the Garners.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Where's Anders?
Yeah, we had a little chunk of property that we needed to get a bear out of. Last year he kept tearing down my deer corn feeders, so I figured what the heck, we might as well get him out. So.
Awesome, very cool. Well, congratulations, guys. It was fun to see the successful hunters here at the Nixon's Bear Pole and to hear all the stories of the hunt. At 9 o'clock the next morning, Roy and Rob were at it again.
Day 2, got a lot of activity during the day, so we're going to try it again.
All right.
Once again.
Here we go.
It was exciting last night.
This close.
Yeah. Cool. It was absolutely dead quiet and still out here at the stand this second day. Roy and I sat for a few hours in the morning and didn't see any bears. We took a quick lunch break and got back out before the forecasted rain came through. We had some activity right away this time. One of the yearlings from the day before came back, and eventually so did the sow and the other yearling. It was pretty cool just to sit and watch these gorgeous bears hanging out for a while. The rain seemed to have chased the bears away, but once it cleared up, one of the yearlings came back for more. Then she got a little nervous and took off, and that's when things got more interesting. A bear that we hadn't seen before appeared out of the thick swamp and into Roy's shooting lane. Now things were getting exciting.
Yeah. Nice job. Yes. Nice. Finally, Roy. Sweet. Good job, man. Awesome. Very cool.
Roy was so stoked he couldn't wait to get out of the stand and go see if he could spot any blood or sign of his bear. We called back to camp to share the news and ask for some tracking help. Rob was out with another hunter, so his buddy Brian Long came out to help. There was not a speck of blood where the bear was standing when Roy shot, and the rain was making it tough to make heads or tails of a blood trail. It immediately gets so thick back in this swamp that Brian and Rob decided we should come back in the morning for a better chance at finding Roy's bear. Well, Rob, what's going on?
We're gonna go.
Gathered up a bear posse.
Yeah, Roy hit one last night. It looks like a good hit. We didn't look very much. It's real thick and swampy in there, so we're gonna take my tracking crew and go try to find it.
The crew fanned out in the swamp and scoured every inch of the terrain for Roy's bear. He was pretty impressed with the effort.
Oh my goodness, the thickest swamp I've ever seen. And tracked it in, had a big group of people come out and help out and the next morning, and it was just crazy. 100 yards in, laying right there.
Oh, that's so cool. So how did it feel walking up on your first bear?
Trying not to get trampled by everybody else was kind of fun. It was there was so many people there. It was a great social event. I mean, it was unbelievable the amount of support you get when you come out here. Everybody's there for you.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's insane. I could never in my life would I imagine this happening.
Awesome. Bill Kring was very happy for Roy's success. Well, that's so cool that you're able to do that.
Well, these guys do so much for us, and this little tiny thing I did, they do so much for us. Our vets they're the reason we're able to do this. So that's why I wanted to give back a little bit in a little way.
It's great to see an entire community come together to take part in a hunt like this. Roy's bear was a sow and ended up tipping the scales at 217 pounds, a very respectable Michigan black bear. Special thanks to Bill Kring and Rob Nixon for making it happen. And congrats to Roy Thomason on a hunt to remember here in Michigan's Out of Doors.
We're here at the Gratiot-Saginaw State Game Area, which is a pretty special place for the On Their Ground program, because this is actually where we started with our first pilot project back in 2013. We came back here again this year and had a great turnout. I think 15 volunteers came out to help clear out some trees and create some brush piles. But this is one of 20 projects that we've done this year in the 2014 calendar year. We average about 20 volunteers per project, and the real cool thing is to see that they're always a mix of both repeat volunteers and new volunteers. So we've been doing brush pile projects, we've been doing hinge cutting for white-tailed deer, we've done quite a few planting projects, oaks and cedars that provide cover. Just a big variety of projects. Next year, 2015, we're looking to expand it even more. So we want to do at least 25 projects. And I'll tell you what, as long as we have volunteers willing to come out and a place to do work, we're looking to get out there and improve wildlife habitat.
Over the last several years, we've been trying to put something together to involve the public in what we do. You know, we've tried using volunteers in a number of locations, and frankly, the DNR's never been as good at it as we'd like to be. And so Aaron McDonough and I got to talking, and we decided that perhaps another way to go about this was to hire somebody in cooperation with MUCC and put them at MUCC. And that person's job was to advertise events, cheerlead events, organize events, and get people out. And I can say with great enthusiasm that we now have a volunteer program, and for the first time in my 30-year career, I can pretty much guarantee that when we ask the public to show up, the public will show up because of this on-the-ground program. It's unique, it's special, and it's highly effective for the DNR and for natural resources in the state of Michigan.
Thinking about where we're going in the future with the On the Ground program, MUCC and our partners in the Department of Natural Resources believe that this is really the future of conservation. We've done a really excellent job of securing resources, and the department does an excellent job of maintaining and managing wildlife. But it's important for us to continue to bring people out into a place like Gratiot-Saginaw so that they can see what conservation looks like when it actually happens on the ground. Things like the brush pile sitting behind me, the hinge cuts that we do, and some of the other places. It's important for people to be able to see these projects in 3 dimension. MUCC wants to cover the state of Michigan in camouflage, and that means that we're going to take OTG projects from the coastal Lake Michigan over to the coastal Lake Huron, north and all the way across the UP, enlisting the support of the public and the hunting public and conservationists all over the state of Michigan to come out and get their hands dirty, get their boots dirty, putting conservation on the ground through one of our habitat projects.
Thanks for joining us this week for Michigan Out of Doors. Make sure you catch us online when you get a chance. You can do that a couple of different ways on our website at MichiganOutofDoorsTV.com or on our Facebook page at Michigan Out of Doors TV. Lots of exciting stuff happening there and a lot of fun stuff happening out in the woods. We'll have the cameras rolling all fall with some exciting stuff coming up for you.
Well, there is a lot going on here in the state of Michigan right now. So much happening in the month of October. On next week's program, we'll update you on what happened on our first week of the archery season. We will also have a veteran pheasant hunt coming over the next week or so. We got a good jigging for salmon story and a really cool story from northern Michigan, trout fishing some of the streams up there. So much going on right now here in the state of Michigan. Make sure you join us next week right here on your PBS station.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Jay's Sporting Goods with locations in Clare and Gaylord. Jay's, serving the Michigan outdoor enthusiast since 1971 with a wide variety of outdoor products. The gear, the knowledge, the tradition of Jay's on the web at jayssportinggoods.com. By Rosie Brothers. Located in Dryden, Michigan, Rosie Brothers has been serving Michigan for over 40 years. Specializing in outdoor needs, Rosie Brothers features Kubota tractors and equipment for use in farm, home, or commercial needs. On the web at rosiebrosinc.com. By Propane, exceptional energy. Propane retailers promote the safe use of Michigan-produced gas energy in homes, farms, and businesses across our great state. Learn more at usemichiganpropane.com. By Meyer, a destination for hunting, fishing, and camping. From bug spray and tents to GPS and gas, Meyer has nearly everything you need to take on nature and get you there. Meyer. Closed captioning is brought to you by Propane, exceptional energy. Propane retailers promote the safe use of Michigan-produced gas to outdoor enthusiasts across our great state.
When I wander far away, a dream stays with me night and day. It's the road that leads to my home state. I am a Michigan man. Changing seasons paint the scene like rainbow trout in a hidden stream. The white-tailed deer in the tall pine trees. I am a Michigan man. I am a Michigan man. Ask where I'm from and I'll show you my hands. Lord.